Hello and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some little unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Hey, make sure that if you haven't done so already that you follow us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And hey, if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you turn on that bell for notifications. Give us a thumbs up. Would love to see your feedback. And hey, as always, if you are planning a Disney vacation and you want to go from okay to absolutely amazing, I would love to help plan it and make it the best vacation that it could ever possibly be. If you want me to help you, just email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. And hey, first things first, I got to get it out of the way. I sound a little raspy. I have a cold right now. Obviously, I have a 1-year-old daughter. She gave it to me, as 1-year-olds do. So it is what it is. We're going to fight through. We're going to power through because it is spooky season right now. So we're going to start round number 1 with The Nightmare Before Christmas. Typically, we save our movies' anniversaries for round 4. And we will get to one in round 4, but we're going to start off with just one of the greatest Halloween movies of all time, and that is The Nightmare Before Christmas. So all these questions are having to do with The Nightmare Before Christmas, the movie, everything else like that. So let's have a little bit of fun and learn a little bit more about The Nightmare Before Christmas. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did The Nightmare Before Christmas come out? Question number 2. What former Disney animator was the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas? Question number 3. What Home Alone actress plays the voice of Sally? Question number 4. Jack enlists the best trick-or-treaters in Halloween Town to capture Santa. The first time, they were not successful. Who did the trick-or-treaters bring instead of Santa? Question number 5. What song does Jack want the string quartet to play and samples the song on a set of bells? And question number 6. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a stop-motion film. How many frames are there per second in the movie? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music. Try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on The Nightmare Before Christmas. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did The Nightmare Before Christmas come out? Well, it came out on October 29th, 1993. So in order to earn the point there, you would have had to say between 1991 and 1995. So yeah, the movie is officially 30 years old. It turns 30 years old this coming Sunday. So celebrate however you do decide to celebrate. And that explains why there's so much this year at both parks having to do with The Nightmare Before Christmas, seeing Jack and Sally and all that. So it's really cool, and a happy anniversary to them. Question number 2. What former Disney animator was the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas? Well, that is, of course, Tim Burton. Now, he has a style that is all his own, and he has really done a good job, and he shows it here in this movie. Now, he was the director of it. At the same time, he was directing a Batman movie, so he was doing a lot of double duty, but he is technically the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it is a fantastic piece of art as well. Question number 3. What Home Alone actress plays the voice of Sally? Well, that is Catherine O'Hara. Now, she does have a couple other voices in the movie as well, but her main one is definitely as Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Question number 4. Jack enlists the best trick-or-treaters in Halloween Town to capture Santa. the first time they were not successful. Who did the trick-or-treaters bring instead of Santa? Well, they brought the Easter Bunny. They were so excited. They're like, they got him. But they didn't know Santa, so they thought they got him. Instead, it was the Easter Bunny. They tried to get the Easter Bunny back and try to get it back into where he belonged. So they had a little bit of fun with that one as well. Question number 5. What song does Jack want the string quartet to play and samples the song on a set of bells? That is Jingle Bells. He has a little set of jingle bells. He starts playing da 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 da, and he wants the string quartet to play that as well. Doesn't sound as good on the string quartet as it does the bells. Personal opinion, I guess. Last but not least, question number 6. Nightmare Before Christmas is a stop motion film. How many frames are there per second in the movie? Well, there are 12 frames per second in the movie. Now, if you aren't familiar with what stop motion means, what that means is this whole movie is made up of a bunch of pictures. So they take a picture, they move everything a little bit, they take another picture, they move everything a little bit more, so on and so forth. So that explains why it took them 3 years to make the movie. It also explains why the movie is under an hour and a half long, because it takes so many pictures to be able to make everything look like it's flowing smoothly. Literally, I remember hearing a story about how they would send Tim Burton some of the images from the day, and literally it would be like less than 20 seconds of a movie, and that's because they had taken so many pictures. Now, there are some parts of the movie where they don't need to take all those pictures, but definitely you can see why it took them so long, and definitely what made this amazing movie just that much more spectacular. Continuing on now into round number 2, we are going to keep this ball rolling of all things The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, round number 2 is our fast facts round, and this round is filled with simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is the hinterland trees. Now, if you don't know what those are, what that is there's a scene where Jack walks into the hinterland, and that's where all the forest is and that sort of stuff, and he sees all the trees for the different holidays. The question is this holiday a tree? Does this holiday have a tree? So a simple yes/no question. So if we were to say Christmas, you would say yes, that has a tree, and that's how Jack gets into Christmas Town. So let's get started with question number 1. Valentine's Day. Question number 2. New Year's Day. Question number 3. Hanukkah. Question number 4. St. Patrick's Day. Question number 5. Independence Day. And question number 6. Thanksgiving. Now, I will let you know that there are a total of 7 trees that you can see. So that lets you know that there are some no's on this list. So let's get started with question number 1. Valentine's Day. There is a tree for Valentine's Day. There was a big pink heart with an arrow through it. So the answer there is yes. Question number 2. New Year's Day. That one is no. That tree did not exist in that forest. So that one is a no. Well, and if it does, we don't see it. So we're just going to go with we didn't see that tree. Question number 3. Hanukkah. That one is a no. That tree, from what we saw, did not exist in that part of the forest. Question number 4. St. Patrick's Day. That one is a yes. We see the 4-leaf clover on that one. We see a rainbow pot of gold. So that one is a yes. Question number 5. Independence Day. That one is a yes. We see all the fireworks on that one. So that's how they amplified it, was all the fireworks, the red, white, and blue fireworks. That's how they said this one is the Independence Day one. Last but not least, question number 6. Thanksgiving, and that one is a yes. There is a giant turkey to represent Thanksgiving on that tree. Now, the ones we didn't talk about are the ones that we already knew. Christmas, Halloween, and then last round we talked about the Easter Bunny and Easter being that last one. But yeah, it's one of those things where you got to kind of watch it as it goes across. It kind of goes quickly, but Jack does eventually settle on Christmastown, and that's where we continue to see the pattern of him going in there and everything else that unfolds after that. Again, great movie. If it's not on your list for spooky season, you got about a week left to be able to get it in. Moving on now to round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. This round is going to have 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related. But the 6th question is, what is the connection? And all those answers do connect some way through Disney. So you just have to know what are the answers to the questions and how do those answers connect through Disney. So let's get started with question number 1. What ride, which is one of 3 with the exact same name that opened on opening day in Disneyland and Disney World, is a cruise through multiple different areas around the world and features the backside of water, O2H? Question number 2. Where can you find 999 happy haunts? Question number 3. What was the first ride featuring Star Wars and is a 3D experience with C-3PO as our pilot? Question number 4. Edinburgh, Leeds, Warwick, and Windsor are all names of what kind of building? Question number 5. What was the very first Disney-themed resort built in Anaheim, California and opening in 1955? And question number 6 is, what is the connection between those answers? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, see if you can make those connections, and then I will return. All right, let's see if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. What ride, which is one of only 3 with the exact same name that opened on opening day in Disneyland and Disney World, is a cruise through multiple different areas around the world and features the backside of water? Well, that would be the Jungle Cruise. That is one of 3 rides that opened both in Disneyland and Disney World with the exact same name. See if you can figure out the other 2 by the end of the show. Question number 2. Where can you find 999 happy haunts? Well, that would be the Haunted Mansion. Now, we will touch on the Haunted Mansion a little bit later, so if you want to pause this now, you can go do a little bit of research on the Haunted Mansion and come back, but otherwise you can just stick with us and we can keep going. Question number 3. What was the first ride featuring Star Wars and is a 3D experience with C-3PO as our pilot? That would be Star Tours. So that one is, of course, the very first Star Wars ride. It's in Disneyland, it's in Disney World, and this was before Disney bought Lucasfilms. So it's really cool. It's even the technology today, it's kind of old-fashioned, but still kind of holds up. It's a fun ride. I still thoroughly enjoy it every single time that I'm on it. Question number 4. Edinburgh, Leeds, Warwick, and Windsor are all names of what kind of building? Those are all castles. And as you can hear, Milo thinks that he needs to live in a castle. He feels like he needs a castle all to himself. I understand he is a Cavalier King Charles, and he is named after King Charles, but I think he's going to have to settle for a house for right now. Question number 5. What was the very first Disney-themed resort built in Anaheim, California and opened in 1955? Well, that would be the Disneyland Hotel. Now, obviously, that is a great hotel. I hope to one day make it out to California to be able to check it out, because it seems like everything I've seen looks absolutely cool. It's vintage, it's old, but definitely has a lot of that Disney theme, and we can see where all the other Disney resorts got their inspiration from that hotel. So we had answers such as the Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Star Tours, Castles, and Disneyland Hotel. Well, what is the connection there? Well, the connection is they're all part of the first season of Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus. Now, I am a big behind the scenes Disney nerd when it comes to the parks. I've watched the Imagineering story I don't know how many times on Disney Plus, and Behind the Attractions was one of my favorite shows that they have on Disney Plus. And personally, November 1st can't come soon enough because they're coming out with new episodes, and I am too excited for it. My wife kind of makes fun of me for it, but I am so excited. I just love learning more about the background of these rides, of these attractions, of these things that just make Disney. So I'm super excited about that, and hopefully November 1st you're joining along with me and watching some of those new episodes. Continuing on now into round number 4, and as always, round number 4 is reserved for our movie anniversaries. Now, we already talked about one movie anniversary and talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it is time to talk about everyone's favorite elephant, and that is Dumbo. So Dumbo has an anniversary this week, so we're going to celebrate our favorite elephant. We're all going to grab our feathers, we're all going to flap our ears, and we're going to have a little bit of fun learning more about Dumbo. So let's get started with question number 1. Within 2, what year did Dumbo premiere? Question number 2. What number animated feature is Dumbo for Disney? Question number 3. What is the name of the mouse who becomes friends with Dumbo? Question number 4. How many times do we see Dumbo fly in the movie? Question number 5. Dumbo is unique because he is the only protagonist in any Disney movie to do what? And question number 6. After the success of Dumbo, Time magazine planned to feature Dumbo on their cover. What event prevented that from happening? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of to answer those questions. Grab your feathers, think hard, and then I will return with those answers. All right, let's get some answers here on everyone's favorite flying elephant. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did Dumbo premiere? Well, it officially premiered October 23, 1941. So in order to earn the point there, you would have had to say between 1939 and 1943. Now, keep that year tucked into the back of your mind. That might help you if you haven't figured out the answer to number 5 yet. That might help you answer the question to number 5. Or number 6, I'm sorry. It might help you answer number 6. Question number 2. What number animated feature is Dumbo for Disney? It is its 5th featured film that they made that was animated. So yeah, it's pretty young. We can see, it came out in 41. That means it's pretty old. But again, beloved by everyone. It has a ride that is in every single park. Come on. Everyone loves Dumbo. Question number 3. What is the name of the mouse who becomes friends with Dumbo? That would be Timothy Q. Mouse. He is the one who inspires Dumbo. He's convincing him he's his friend because Dumbo thinks that he doesn't have any friends. So definitely plays a big role in helping Dumbo get the courage to be able to eventually fly. Question number 4. Speaking of flying, how many times do we see Dumbo fly in the movie? We see him fly 1 time. He flies 1 time, and it's for literally less than 30 seconds. So there's all this all this hype about Dumbo and how he can fly and everything else like that. He flies once for less than 30 seconds. And it is literally, he flies, he meets up with his mom, and the movie. It is comical, and it's just kind of cool just how much they built up that he can fly. We see him fly, but it's only 1 time. It still makes me laugh a ton from that. Question number 5. Dumbo is unique because he is the only protagonist in any Disney movie to do what? not have a single word. Dumbo does not say a single word throughout the entire movie. And yet, he is the main character. There is no other Disney movie where the main character does not say a single word. So that's something that's kind of cool. And again, we fell in love more with those eyes and the giant ears and the love of the holding on to the feather with the trunk than anything else. Plus, we fell in love with him and his mom's love for each other. Just something that was so sweet. Last but not least, question number 6. After the success of Dumbo, Time magazine planned to feature Dumbo on their cover. What event prevented this from happening? Well, that would be the Pearl Harbor attacks. Now, originally the story goes that Time was going to feature Dumbo on one of their December issues of Time magazine. But December is also when we had the attacks on Pearl Harbor. So again, if I said, remember that number of 1941 was the year, that was because of those attacks on Pearl Harbor. That prevented Dumbo from getting his own cover on Time magazine. And because of everything that happened after that, Dumbo never got a cover on Time magazine. But again, a classic, forever loved, and definitely a tearjerker from time to time. Highly recommend checking it out. All right, let's wrap up today's game with a little bit of spooky fun. And this round is simply titled The Haunted Mansion. Now, we already touched on the Haunted Mansion earlier and 999 happy haunts. So let's see if we can have a little bit of fun with everyone's favorite haunted house. So question number 1. When you ride in the Haunted Mansion, what do you ride in? Question number 2. What song is sung during the cemetery scene in the Haunted Mansion? Question number 3. What year was the opening of the first Haunted Mansion in Disneyland? Question number 4. What was the name of the Haunted Mansion ride in Disneyland Paris? Question number 5. Who is the voice of the ghost host? And question number 6. In November 2003, who starred in the first movie based on the Haunted Mansion? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music. We will wrap up today's game, and then we'll talk about the ghouls and goblins within the Haunted Mansion. All right, let's wrap up today's game, have a little bit of fun with the Haunted Mansion. So question number 1. When you ride in the Haunted Mansion, what do you ride in? Well, that is, of course, a doom buggy, where, as the ghost host reminds us, he will close it for us. He will also open it for us. It's just part of the ride, part of the experience, and something that's super cool. For me, I don't know if I'm the only one. I have to take my hat off whenever I go on the ride because I have this little button on top. No matter what I do when I sit in the doom buggy, unless I'm by myself, this button gets pushed into my head, so I got to take it off. Other than that, great ride, very comfortable. Question number 2. What song is sung during the ceremony scene in the Haunted Mansion? Well, that would be Grimming Ghosts. So, as you're going through the Haunted Mansion, you're going through the cemetery, which, by the way, when you go backwards in the AC when it's blasting hot outside, is the best feeling in the world. We got stuck there once. Oh, best feeling ever. Also, I enjoyed trying to find all the dogs in the cemetery as well. Anyway, the song Grimming Ghosts Come Out to Socialize. That is the song that we hear throughout the cemetery. Question number 3. What year was the opening of the first Haunted Mansion in Disneyland? Well, that would be 1969. Now, the way the story goes, they built the mansion. They planned on utilizing the mansion. They didn't know what they were going to utilize it for. And then Walt passed, and they decided, you know what? Haunted Mansion, I think it'd be perfect. They kind of came together, figured everything out, and now we have a ride that I think everyone loves. Question number 4. What is the name of the Haunted Mansion ride in Disneyland Paris? Well, that is the Phantom Manor. Now, their thoughts on death and haunting and that sort of stuff is a little bit different from ours, but they had to completely re-theme the Haunted Mansion for Hong Kong, and that is Mystic Manor, where instead of, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, everything else like that, it's just a mysterious monkey. It is really cool, it is really unique, and it's one of the reasons why I want to go to Hong Kong, is just to see their version of the Haunted Mansion, just to see the little bit different take. Same thing in Paris as well. Question number 5. Who is the voice of the Ghost Host? Well, that is Paul Frees. Now, he is a very well-known voice actor, and he voices the entirety of the ride. He is, if you heard him talk normal, it's cool to think like, oh, that wouldn't be him, and then he talks, and it's just like, ooh, yeah, he does a good job there. Definitely the epitome of a voice actor there. And I don't know how long ago, but recently the film has started coming up of him recording, and it is hilarious. I love listening to it. It makes me laugh every time and just brings a smile to my face just thinking about the ride. Last but not least, question number 6. In November 2003, who starred in the first movie based on the Haunted Mansion? That would be Eddie Murphy. That was the very first movie that came out based on the Haunted Mansion. It's skippable. If you want to watch it, cool, but it's not over the top amazing. But you know what is amazing? The ride. The Haunted Mansion definitely doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be spooky season. Always a great ride. Always a ton of fun. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I appreciate you fighting through with me as my voice kind of croaks and cranks all sorts of different directions. I will return next Thursday with more questions and more fun. Will we keep the spooky season vibe going? I don't know. We're in November at that point. There might be a Christmas tree back here. We're going to just have to wait and see. If you're listening to us on Apple, make sure that you choose to follow. Once you choose to follow, make sure you choose to automatically download. If Apple isn't your thing, make sure you're subscribed everywhere else. And hey, if you're over here on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed here. Turn on that bell for notifications. Doesn't matter where you are. Give us a 5-star review, thumbs up, comment what your score is. Would love to see what your score is as well. And hey, again, if you are planning a Disney vacation, you can email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. I would love to take your vacation for good to great. You can also reach out on our social medias at mouseinthemitten on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in this week, and I will see you next time.